What's up, Blue and Silver Nation? Today isn't just another Friday. You can feel it in the air. That different kind of energy, that buzz that makes every Lions fan stop and pay attention. Because what's happening right now could completely change the future of this team. We're talking about massive negotiations, decisions that could redefine the heart of this franchise, and even rumors that might shake up the market before the deadline. This is the kind of moment that separates those who dream from those who build something real. But before we dive deep into it, do this. Hit that like button if you believe Detroit is building something built to last. And drop a comment. What do you think the team should do now? Lock in the deals, go all in, or keep the core together till the end? Because today's video isn't just about news, it's about the future of the Detroit Lions. And it's starting to take shape right before our eyes. Let's talk about it. Go Lions! Something stirring inside Allen Park. The kind of energy that makes every Detroit Lions fan lean in a little closer. Because this isn't just about another routine Thursday news cycle. It's about something big. Something that could reshape the very core of this team. And it starts with a name every Lions fan knows by heart. Aiden Hutchinson. Reports have exploded this week that Hutchinson and the Lions have already started exploratory talks for a massive contract extension. One that could drop this season. Jeremy Fowler broke the story, saying both sides are in active discussions, and that Hutchinson, now eligible as a fourth-year pro, looks destined for a new deal. And folks, let's be honest, this is not just another contract. This is the kind of deal that says Detroit isn't renting greatness anymore. It's building around it. Let's break this down. Hutchinson isn't just any edge rusher. He's the heartbeat of this defense, the energy source of Ford Field, and the emotional spark behind every "Let's go Lions" roar. If you've watched this team fight through the grind week after week, you know what this means. The Lions are preparing to open the vault, and that's not exaggeration. The top pass rushers in the league, like Micah Parsons, have reset the market, and Hutchinson's number is expected to soar above that. Think north of $45 million per year. And you know what? He's earned every penny. Because Hutchinson doesn't take plays off. He doesn't coast. He's the relentless motor that forces offensive coordinators to lose sleep. But there's a catch, and this is where things get interesting. Paying Hutchinson superstar money means the front office, led by Brad Holmes, has some tightrope walking ahead. You've got massive contracts already on the books. Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Taylor Decker's recent extension, David Montgomery, all guys who play massive roles in this team's identity. Add Hutchinson's mega deal to that, and suddenly every future payday for rising stars like Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, and Jack Campbell becomes a puzzle with pieces that might not all fit. The Lions do have solid cap space right now, but next year's outlook, as one insider put it, cheeks. In other words, tight. Real tight. That's why this front office has been meticulously preparing, rolling over cap, planning extensions strategically, trying to keep this core together without blowing up their long-term flexibility. Now let's pivot to another big headline flying under the radar, the offensive line shuffle. Dan Skipper has officially been elevated, and that's a quiet but crucial move.
With Taylor Decker's health still uncertain, Dan Campbell made it clear they're not risking Decker's long-term availability just to rush him back. It makes no sense, Campbell said. We'll play it smart, and that's classic Campbell, toughness mixed with foresight. Skipper, a fan favorite known for his heart and grit, could be protecting Jared Goff's blind side this Sunday. He's not flashy, but he's reliable. You know exactly what you're going to get: effort, consistency, and zero quit. And if it comes down to it, Campbell seems confident he can hold the line against a desperate Kansas City defense that's going to come after Goff with everything they've got. And speaking of that Chiefs matchup, here's the question burning through the fan base right now. How many touchdowns is Goff throwing this week? Drop your predictions in the comments, because this one could get wild. But before we go there, there's another storyline developing, one that says a lot about the Lions' mindset as we inch closer to the NFL trade deadline. The team is once again being urged by the national media to make a move, specifically a trade for cornerback Tariq Woolen. Reports from Heavy.com claim the Seahawks defensive back could be available for a fifth-round pick, and on paper, that sounds tempting. With injuries still nagging the secondary and Terrion Arnold's shoulder recovery taking time, it could make sense. A fifth-round pick for a long, athletic corner with starting experience? That's the kind of low-risk, high-upside play that could push this defense from good to dangerous. But hold up, the Lions front office has been careful, measured, calculated. Brad Holmes doesn't make desperation trades. Every move has to fit not just the scheme, but the culture. Remember, this is a locker room built on chemistry and trust. So while Woolen's name floats out there, it doesn't mean it'll happen. What we do know is that Detroit will likely be active at the deadline. Holmes has made it clear this team is in win-now mode. Whether it's a cornerback, a rotational lineman, or even depth at quarterback, They're keeping their options open. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, let's address another rumor, the idea of bringing back former Lion Jared Jacobs. Some media outlets, including SI.com, have pushed the idea, suggesting that Detroit should re-sign Jacobs to shore up depth. He's been staying in shape, reportedly working out for the Cowboys and Colts. And while Jacobs has had some solid moments in Honolulu Blue, the truth is, his time in Detroit seems to have passed. The coaching staff appears ready to move forward, to evolve beyond familiar faces, and continue building around their new defensive identity. Campbell's philosophy has always been simple: compete every snap, earn every rep, and move forward, not backward. And just when you thought that was the end of it, no, Detroit had to deal with another wave of national headlines this week, this time sparked by none other than Adam Schefter. A report claimed that the Lions organization had contacted the NFL to monitor plays involving Hutchinson, implying the team was seeking extra attention from officials regarding how he's being blocked. It spread fast, but Dan Campbell wasted zero time shutting it down. "That's bogus," he said flatly. "That's a bogus report. Nobody from here ever did that. That's bull." His response? Classic Campbell, raw, direct, and no fluff. He said the game is played a certain way, and they're not looking for special treatment. They'll play within the rules, they'll take their hits, and they'll keep punching back. And honestly, that's been the tone all year. The national media's coverage of Detroit has been all over the place, half praise, half nonsense. Reports that twist quotes, inflate rumors, or flat out fabricate tension that doesn't exist. It's been one of the strangest seasons ever for misinformation coming out of Allen Park. But through it all, Campbell has been steady, transparent. You ask him a question, he gives you the truth, even if it's blunt, even if it's uncomfortable. And maybe that's what makes this Lions team so easy to root for. They don't hide behind headlines. They just go to work. The vibe right now around this team is electric. The contract talks, the roster moves, the trade whispers, it all points to one thing: a franchise that's no longer reacting to the league, but shaping it. Every decision, every rumor, every quote adds another layer to the story unfolding in Detroit. And if you're a Lions fan, you can feel it, that something bigger is brewing, something that goes beyond stats or cap space. This team is building a legacy. So now, I want to hear from you. Should the Lions go all in and lock up Hutchinson right now, even if it means tough financial choices later? Or should they wait until next offseason and keep their flexibility? Drop your thoughts below, because one thing's for sure: what happens next could define the next decade of Detroit Lions football. Because let's be real, deals like this don't just reshape a defense, they reshape identity. When Aiden Hutchinson walks into that locker room, the energy shifts. He's the kind of player who doesn't just lead with talent, he leads by example. Every rep in practice, every snap in the fourth quarter, every single chase down play when the game's already decided, it all screams one thing: this guy was built for Detroit. You can see it in the way he plays, but also in the way he carries himself. He's not chasing fame, he's chasing legacy. And that's why the city loves him. He's one of us, gritty, relentless, and proud to wear that lion on his chest. And that's what makes this contract conversation more emotional than financial. Because it's not about if the Lions should pay him, it's about how much and when. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell know what they have in him. They know Hutchinson isn't just a cornerstone, he's the foundation of everything they've built these past few years. From the moment they drafted him second overall, he became the face of this new era. The era where Detroit doesn't settle for potential. The era where they expect to win. But fans also know the reality: NFL windows don't stay open forever. You've got to make the right moves, at the right time, and balance that fine line between loyalty and logistics. Paying your stars big money means others might walk. That's the harsh truth of roster building. So as Lions fans, we're left asking the same question every contender eventually faces: how do you keep the heart of your team without losing its depth? And then there's Dan Campbell, the steady hand behind it all. Once again this week, he showed why players would run through a wall for him. After national reports claimed the team complained to the league about officials missing calls against Hutchinson, Campbell didn't dance around it. He didn't deflect. He just said it: that's bogus. No hesitation, no PR speak, just straight up honesty. That's who he is. No excuses, no shortcuts. When he says, "we'll play it smart," you believe him. When he says, "we'll fight through it," you know he means it. And when he says, "that's BS," well, you can bet it is. But let's take a second and talk about something else that's just as important: the trenches. Because with Taylor Decker still battling his injury, the offensive line shuffle has everyone talking. Dan Skipper being elevated may not have made national headlines, but Lions fans know how huge this is. Skipper isn't the most talented guy on the field, and he'll tell you that himself, but he's one of those players you just trust. He's been here through the ups and downs. He's fought for every snap, every roster spot, every chance to prove he belongs. And now, with Decker's status uncertain, Campbell might need him to step up again. Protecting Jared Goff's blind side against the Chiefs' pass rush? That's no small task. But if there's anyone who's earned that chance through sheer determination, it's Skipper. And that's the thing about this team, every player seems to embody that next man-up mentality. Whether it's Skipper or a rookie like Terrion Arnold grinding his way back from a shoulder injury, the mindset stays the same. No excuses, just football. And that's why the trade talk gets so intriguing. Reports have surfaced about Detroit being urged once again to make a move at the cornerback position. Tard Woolen's name keeps popping up, a long, physical corner with elite athleticism and Pro Bowl potential. According to Heavy.com, the price tag might only be a fifth-round pick. For a contender like Detroit, that's tempting. But then again, does it make sense to disrupt the chemistry this team has built just to chase a name? That's the question Brad Holmes has to wrestle with in the next few weeks before the trade deadline hits. Meanwhile, former Lions corner Jerry Jacobs has been making waves on social media, hinting at his desire to return. He's been out of football this year, but he stayed in shape, getting workouts with teams like Dallas and Indianapolis. And while it's nice to see familiar faces still wanting to be part of what Detroit's building, the truth is, this version of the Lions feels different. It's focused forward, not backward. Jacobs gave his all here, no doubt, but the secondary is evolving. Young guys are stepping up, new schemes are taking shape, and this coaching staff wants players who can grow into that system. And you can feel that shift across the roster. From top to bottom, it's a culture built on accountability. You either buy in or you don't last.